It's Bill here, and here's my thoughts on a 6-4 win over the Boston Bruins and a couple of the games and the slack given to William Nylander. I have some opinions on that. All right, well, 6-4 win over the Boston Bruins. We can get into the game. I thought the Leafs played a really great game, to be honest. Walking into hostile ground, the Boston Bruins, I'm going to go on them in just a bit, but overall effort was there. I thought the defense was steady. I'm not a big fan of the second line. I took a couple of videos of Tavares getting caught behind plays, but obviously this game took a little turn for the... I'm not going to show you those videos, but trust me, Tavares can't skate. We'll get into that when we talk about the Nylander situation, how it seems like he's the whipping boy, but and there's some, in all honesty, there's some things for Nylander that he doesn't compete. I get that, but I'll get into that in just a sec. But let's get into Bruins. It's been a while since they played the Bruins, because it took me a while as I was watching the game to be reminded of how despicable an organization that the Boston Bruins are. And this is an organization, I'll be honest with you, I'm a Leaf fan. I used to like the Boston Bruins. I remember the Cam Neely Bruins. I remember the Andy Moog Bruins going to the 88 finals, and, great series against Philly, great series against Edmonton. The Boston Bruins used to be the big, bad Boston Bruins, and they were, even in 2010. They had Tim Thomas, Milan Lucic, Nathan Horton, Patrice Bergeron, a young Marchand before he got doing his licking faces and all that kind of nonsense. But this organization, the Boston Bruins, it has deteriorated drastically, and it all stems from the coach. When they fired Julian and they hired Bruce Cassidy, who's the biggest bitch that I've ever seen, that is now dragged into the organization. So the hiring of Bruce Cassidy, and I'm not saying this the guy never stops complaining. He makes Pat Quinn look like a non-complainer. So when we go through this, and I'm going to go through the game, and we can go through the goals. There were some beautiful plays. Of course, the 2-on-0 with the too many passes, that's classic Mitch Marner. But then he made a great shot on a 2-on-1, nice pass from Matthews. There was the power play that they got because of the Bruins doing their nonsense. There was Justin Hall getting a penalty for a guy holding a stick, falling down and taking a shot to the head. There were some calls that should have gone the Bruins' way. But of course, the Bruins every call's against the Bruins. You know this. Every call's against the Bruins, because that's what this organization is about. It starts with your coach, drags down to your players who think that you can just cross-check people in the middle of a game, and they get away with it. Marchand gave 3 cross-checks to Tavares, didn't get 1 call for it. He got 10-minute misconduct for yelling at the ref afterwards, for, I guess, Tavares not retaliating when I cross-checked him for free. Same guy who licks faces. This is what the Boston Bruins organization... I talk to Bruins fans. I know some Bruins fans, and they talk about the tough Bruins. This is not a tough team. This is a chippy team. There's a difference between a chippy team and a tough team. This team's a joke. So we'll get into some of the plays, but again, when I focus in on the goals, Kerfoot, they were getting on the goalie for playing bad. I thought a lot of the goals Swayman really didn't have a chance at. But Blackwell goal, nice pass from Spezza. That starts it off. Of course, there's the 4-1 lead, and then I'm texting going, oh, crap, it's 4-1. But the Leafs extended that with the power play goal. And, at the end of the day, they'd only had 4 defensemen going into the third period. And were able to come out with a 6-4 win. I know they had a 6-2 lead going in. So, okay, the Bruins came back. But when you're playing with 4 defense for a period, here we go. But let's go through some of the plays, okay? So it starts off with a Pasternak hit from behind on Riley. I like to think I'm not biased. I will sit here and tell you the Taylor Hall goal that got overturned. I texted right away, that's a goal. That was a goal. I'm a Leaf fan. I'm not biased. I watched the Leaf games. I saw the play. It's a goal. Now there's going to be some Leaf biased fans that are going to say, that's not a goal, it's goalie interference. It's a goal. DeBrusk went off his skate and in the net. He didn't kick it, it's a goal. This is what watching a game and not being biased is. The Boston Bruins fan base cannot do this. It starts with their announcers. Have you ever watched a Boston Bruins game with Jack Edwards and whatever the other guy's name is with their clam chowder? Get me a clam chowder. Every call against the Bruins is the worst call ever. And every call or anything where the Bruins fall, that's a penalty. This is where this fan base is. They listen to completely biased pricks. I'm going to joke on the Steve Haggerty. Sorry, not Steve Haggerty. I think that guy may be a dark player. Joe Haggerty. I won't disparage his looks, but he certainly doesn't miss a meal like me. Ilya Lyubushkin drills Taylor Hall from behind. This is where this organization, and this is why Boston Bruins fans are despicable. Watch the goddamn play. He didn't hit him from behind, you effing moron. Unless I've got a different physics book than anyone else. From behind, hit him right in the numbers, he must have. Then falls to the ice like a prone turtle when Hall pops in the side of the head with a glove. I thought the Oscars were on Sunday night. No call on the board. Leafs on the power play. This is a fucking Boston Bruins announcer. A reporter for the team. This is goddamn disgraceful. This is bias and runs through the entire organization. Could you imagine a Toronto reporter? A Toronto reporter doing that? Jack Edwards one time wished Roman Polak an injury. Now, Roman Polak wasn't playing on the Leafs, but he was playing on Dallas. He wished him an injury. This is this organization. Starts with the coach, a whiny bitch, and funnels all the way down to cross-checks, cheap shots. You know who I didn't see doing any of that nonsense? Patrice Bergeron. Because he comes from the days when the Boston Bruins were actually tough. Charlie McAvoy is not tough. Charlie McAvoy is the same guy who faked an injury and came back when the Bruins were down against Ottawa. Same guy. This is the coach allows this shit. Joe Haggerty. This is a reporter saying the Oscars. From behind, he deserves fictional screenplay award because it wasn't from behind. It was a clean hit on Hall. Now, do I think Hall got out the Mike Tyson gloves and whammed Lyubushkin? No, I watched it. I'm a Leaf fan. I'm not biased. But he hit him in the head. He hit him from behind here. It didn't look like it was a hard punch, but he punched him in the back of the head. Now, I'm going to guess when you go to concussion protocol that he goddamn hit him. He's not like Charlie McAvoy or Louis DeBrusk who takes a shift off and I'm hurt 4 games for the Cadre. Then I'm back on the ice. Despicable organization. I don't know how you can be a fan of this. I used to like the Boston Bruins. I used to watch them. This is the Montreal Canadiens circa 1980s. Dive and score on the power play. Take a look at the Brad Marchand penalty he drew. Greg Louganis is jealous of that dive. Just despicable. It always happens with Boston. It always does. And it's because of Bruce Cassidy. If you're a Bruins fan, you ain't winning anything with that prick. You hope, or though you're already tainted because you think everything goes against you, and you're going to say that the refs were completely against the Bruins that entire game. Tell me how Justin Hall got a penalty for Charlie Coyle holding his stick, taking him down, and then taking a shot in the head and bleeding all over the ice. And Bruce Cassidy. The only thing you ever saw Sheldon Keefe do all game is he looked at the refs and go, what the are you doing out there? You have no control of this game. You have one job. Call penalties when Brad Marchand cross-checks Tavares right in front of you. No call. No call. Disgusting. So I will say this. It was good to beat the Bruins. I think it showed a little toughness. I think I liked what I saw of the Leafs. Mikheyev, Engvall, they played the game relatively in the face. Bunting was in the face. No one backed down in this game, which is a great thing to see. And for all you Bruins fans, you're a disgraceful organization. You're despicable fans. And I hope for your sake they fire the reason why, Bruce Cassidy. Now let's get into the Nylander talk, because Nylander's been the whipping boy. I will say that Nylander always lacks a competitive edge. He's always had that lack of competitive edge. But what Nylander has is talent. He's got skating ability, and when he grabs the puck, he's pretty dominant with it. Take a look at Morgan Rielly's goal tonight. Give Nylander the puck, and he's going to make things happen. Now, his competitive edge, there were plenty of times when he could have gone in and banged someone. He ain't banging anybody. Drives me crazy, and I get the criticism. But then I look at his average salary at 6.5, going to score 30 goals. I then look at John Tavares at $11 million salary, and while the man tries, he can't skate. That's the problem. I'm more worried about Tavares at 11 with the skill set he brings than Nylander at 6.5. And yes, I wish he had a competitive streak. But if he had a competitive streak, he'd be making 10, 11. I would ask you this. You're about to fly a plane. You've got a guy who's a really good pilot, very skilled pilot, little lazy, little cocky. Or do you want a guy who really tries hard but doesn't know how to fly a plane? Which one do you want taking you up in the air? By the way, the one guy who can't fly the plane gets you $5 million more. Tavares can try all he wants. He can't get there to do any of the work. Nylander just needs to start working. So this criticism of Nylander is just, to me, it's garbage. Nylander is who he is. He isn't going to change. We all wish him to be a better, more competitive guy. I don't know what drives him. If anyone saw his dad play, he certainly wasn't the stalwart of competitiveness. And yes, Tavares does try, but he doesn't have the legs to get there. So try all you want. There was a play today, in the first play, when Lindholm really scored at the 30 seconds into the game or 40 seconds into the game, where Lindholm was about 15 feet behind John Tavares when he started, and he was about 30 feet past him when he nearly tucked it in. That wasn't Nylander back-checking. That was Tavares back-checking. So the criticism, if you're going to give it to Nylander, there's another person who deserves the criticism when it comes to back-checking, because he can't get there. He just doesn't have the physical skills to skate, and you pay him $11 million. Anyways, it is a nice win. They beat Florida. They beat Boston. They lost to Montreal. Again, as a Leaf fan, you Bruins fans, try to take the shades off. Like I said, the fourth goal that Taylor Hall scored, that's a goal. And just so I remind you Bruins fans of something. What Hall did was not much different to what Kadri did in the playoffs. He got kneed by DeBrusk. So that was a knee. That wasn't a pretend hit from behind. He took a knee from DeBrusk. DeBrusk kneed him with no call, and then he ran him. Taylor Hall took a clean hit. Again, the fourth goal was a goal. So I don't have my biased hat on here. I thought the refs sucked for both teams tonight. See those glasses? They're not biased. They're not all Toronto. And Taylor Hall sucker punched him. He should be suspended. For you Bruins fans, just remember Kadri on DeBrusque. Keep that in mind. Or, you can't get through your thick skulls. Leafs play on Thursday. Cheers.